New at 5:30 tonight, heroin addiction has reached epidemic levels in many states. And here in Kern County, narcotics detectives say they are pulling almost twice as much heroin off the streets than from this time last year.
The reasons behind drug abuse are different for each person, but many say they just can't walk away from the drug. 17's Lee Painter began her investigation into heroin and opiate addiction 1 month after she lost her own brother to a heroin overdose.
Jared Painter was my younger brother, my only sibling, and my best friend in this world. He was a Marine serving in Iraq and Afghanistan in the 2-8 Battalion Echo Company. When his service was over, he struggled with post-traumatic stress disorder and turned to alcohol and stimulator drugs, uppers like cocaine and meth, when his VA hospital prescriptions didn't work. On March 7th at 2 o'clock in the morning, my mother called me. She said Jared overdosed. I then asked my mom the worst question any mother should ever be asked of her own son. I asked, Mom, he's still alive, right? We had no idea he was using heroin. And like millions of other families, we're left trying to understand why. This assignment on heroin addiction gave me the opportunity to try to answer that.
Behind his bedroom door, few people saw 23-year-old David Dawson, a former fashion model, the way he saw himself.
I'd use the mirror to find veins from the reflection. I would count down the seconds until I got high. Normally it's about 15 seconds, and it's almost as if I'd watched the heroin travel up my arm and into my heart and into my brain.
Dawson's opiate addiction started 5 years earlier with a headache.
My ex-girlfriend handed me a Vicodin, and she said only take half. And so I took half, and nothing happened. And so the next day I told her, you know, I didn't feel anything off it. Nothing special happened. I just, my headache didn't really go away either. So she gave me 3 more of them. And then I took 3.5 because I still had the half left over, you know, and I got high.
Dawson had never tried drugs before, but in 1 week he ended up finishing the whole bottle of Vicodin stolen from his girlfriend's mother's medicine cabinet. He didn't realize he was hooked. For several months he stole prescription drugs. Then he began buying on the street. When that got too expensive, his dealer offered heroin.
It's kind of like someone wrapped you in a blanket almost, and you just feel like your whole entire body feels warm and numb at the same time. You know, there's a fine line between overdosing and being okay. You're like half conscious almost. You know, you can be asleep, but you can still hear everything around you.
Pain pills like Oxycontin, Vicodin, and Norcos, like heroin, are opiates. Once in your body, they metabolize as morphine, a highly addictive painkiller. It's an addiction that has gripped Kern County. From 5:30 in the morning until 1 p.m., nearly 300 people will come to this methadone clinic on South Union Avenue to try to kill the urge to use opiates.
Methadone itself is a blocker. It blocks the urges and cravings from using any opiates, which is codeine, morphine. It helps to block those urges where you won't have the will to want to use anymore.
Users say as good as the opiates make you feel, withdrawing from the narcotics is the worst feeling they've ever experienced.
A lot of people tell you it's easier to use and go through those withdrawals.
For Dawson, withdrawal symptoms started 6 to 8 hours after he used. A modeling opportunity in Paris was ruined when he says he ran out of heroin the day before the runway show.
I literally could not get out of bed. And so I missed the showcase and everything. And you just can't eat anything. Nothing tastes good. Nothing sounds good. I mean, even drinking water, it's disgusting.
Millions of people around the world are prescribed pain pills by their own doctors. So how is it that some people start by coming here and end up later buying illegal drugs here?
Did she take this one last night?
In Torrance, pain management specialist Dr. Gregory Smith says some people are born with a predisposition to addiction.
And the truth is it's in the DNA. And at this point in time, I DNA test everybody because what you see is you'll have two people in the same family, one person can take a Vicodin, no problem, for a dental procedure or something like that. The other person takes 1 or 2 Vicodin, and it's like the world opens up to them.
Heroin opened Dawson to a world of frequent trips to Martin Luther King Jr. Park in southeast Bakersfield.
Go there and there's dealers everywhere, and you just flash them like 1, 2, or 3, like how many bags you want. And by the time you walk up to them, they already have it, and you just exchange the money, and you get the drugs, and you go do your thing.
Dawson says he was spending close to $80 a day on heroin, often getting high in parking lots. He was able to maintain a custodian job with the Kern High School district, but struggled making through his 8-hour shift without using.
Since I was around kids, I would really try not to. I mean, I'd shoot up in the morning before I went to work, and then most of the time, I would say a good 90% of the time, I'd wait till after I was off work to shoot up, even though I was starting to go through withdrawal symptoms even that early, you know.
Experts say opiate addiction is one of the easiest drug addictions to hide.
Because your teeth don't get bad, your face don't get bad, you keep your muscles, you keep your strength, you keep going because it's functioning for you.
Dawson eventually quit his job because dealing heroin became an easier way to support his addiction. And despite sitting through drug dare programs in school, he never considered himself an addict.
They don't teach you that in school. I mean, they just teach you that drugs are bad. That's all they teach you, like stay away from drugs. They mess up your life. They don't teach you what addiction is and how it happens. That never even crossed my mind.
Not even as he watched it happen.
Some heroin addicts have said they feel trapped in a maze trying to find a way to quit before heroin kills them. Part 2 of this story will focus on ways to recover from addiction. Lee Painter, 17 News.